turn toward the flag. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have 3 amendments to the agenda today.
Can't hear.
Please speak up.
We have 3 amendments to the agenda today. They are under proclamations, the 100-year celebration of the Molinaro Band. Under courts, we will consider the approval of award RFP 13-06 for Bernard J. Liptak to lease a new building that Liptak has agreed to build to specifications for the redistricting of Magisterial District Court 14-3-04 at a rental amount of $1,700 a month for 5 years, utilities not included, at 3177 Pittsburgh Road, Perryopolis, PA, Perry Township. The courts are seeking a 6-year lease since that is the term of the Magisterial District Judge. According to the courts, Mr. Liptak has guaranteed the building to be available by December 1st, 2013. And under planning and zoning, consider approval to submit a Fayette County grant application to the State Department of Environmental Protection under Section 902 Act 101 of 1988. Grant application is due Friday, May 31st, 2013.
Make a motion to accept the amendments. If you would, Madam Chairman.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item 3, are there any public comments on any of the agenda items? Seeing none, we'll go to proclamations. First one will be the Emergency Medical Services Week.
Is there anyone here from EMA?
Okay, Emergency Medical Services Week, May 19th through 25th, 2013. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas the emergency medical services system consists of emergency physicians, emergency nurses, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, firefighters, educators, administrators, and others. Whereas the members of emergency medical services teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical services providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. Now therefore, we, the Commissioners of Fayette County, in recognition of this event, do hereby proclaim the week of May 19th through 25th, 2013 as Emergency Medical Services Week. With this theme, EMS, one mission, one team, we encourage the community to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities.
commissioners have anything to say?
Just that we're really proud of them. They do a good job.
We appreciate the recognition from commissioners and from Utah hospitals.
We appreciate the 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365-day-a-year service that you provide to our residents, so thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tobacco. Hello, how are you? This is World No Tobacco Day, whereas every year on May 31st, World No Tobacco Day is celebrated. And whereas it is to encourage, we are here to encourage all to abstain from all forms of tobacco consumption across the globe for a 24-hour period. Tobacco use is the single most preventable cause of death globally, whereas it is currently responsible for killing 1 of 10 adults worldwide. Statistics show that banning tobacco advertising and sponsorship is one of the most cost-effective ways to reduce tobacco demand. Whereas to help reduce tobacco use, comprehensive advertising, promotion, and sponsorship bans work to counteract the deceptive and misleading nature of tobacco marketing campaigns and the unavoidable exposure of youth to tobacco marketing. Whereas the ultimate goal of World No Tobacco Day is to contribute to protect present and future generations not only from these devastating health consequences, but also against social, environmental, and economic scourges of tobacco use and exposure of tobacco smoke. Therefore, the Commissioners of Fayette County do hereby recognize this event and proclaim May 31st as World No Tobacco Day. Have a few words you want to say?
Yeah, we want to thank the commissioners for recognizing this day. And as always, Fayette County Drug and Alcohol, we're trying to bring healthy lifestyles in Fayette County, whether it's smoke-free, drug-free, alcohol-free. And what we're going to do for this event, we're going to be handing out posters and brochures to different doctors' offices, retirement homes, and so forth like that to help promote the event.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Representatives from Community Action.
Hello.
Obviously, it's Cindy and Adele. Community Action. Whereas Fayette County Community Action Agency Incorporated is committed to improving the quality of life for low-income, disabled, and elderly residents of Fayette County. And with the support of community, public, private resources, the Fayette County Community Action Agency offers innovative programming, technical assistance, and planning services which benefit over 30,000 needy residents in Fayette County each year. And the Fayette County Board of Commissioners supports the efforts of Fayette County Community Action Agency and wishes to recognize its accomplishments. Therefore, the Fayette County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim the month of May 2013 as Community Action Month in Fayette County in recognition of the 46 years of service the Fayette County Community Action Agency has provided to the residents of Fayette County. I'd like to thank you all. You guys do a wonderful job and obviously great leadership with Mr. Stark. So,
Thank you very much, and thank you for your continued support of our agency and the great mission that we accomplished through your assistance.
Thank you.
Okay, sure.
you want to be in a picture? Yeah.
I'm sure we can find it.
Thank you very much.
Here we go.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone? Senior Corps Week. Whereas older Americans bring a lifetime of skills and experiences parents, workers, and citizens that can be tapped into challenges in our communities. Whereas for more than 4 decades, seniors and its 3 programs, RSVP, Senior Companions, and Foster Grandparents, have proven to be a highly effective way to engage Americans ages 55 and over in meeting national and community needs. And whereas every year they provide opportunities for nearly 330,000 older Americans across the nation, including more than 100 volunteers in Fayette County to serve their communities. Whereas last year they provided more than 96.2 million hours of service, helping to improve the lives of the most vulnerable citizens, strengthen our educational system, protect our environment, provide independent living services, and contribute to our public safety. And whereas many of them volunteer and build capacity of organizations and communities by serving through more than 65,000 nonprofit, community, educational, and faith-based community groups nationwide. Whereas at a time of mounting social needs and growing interest in service by older Americans, this is an unprecedented opportunity to harness the talents of 55-plus volunteers to address community challenges, and service by older Americans help volunteers by keeping them active, healthy, and engaged, helping our communities by solving local problems, and helps our nation by saving taxpayer dollars by reducing healthcare costs and strengthening our democracy. Therefore, this is the 4th annual Senior Corps Week, taking place May 5th through 11th, 2013, and it's an opportunity to thank all of the volunteers for their service and recognition and for their positive impact and value to our communities and nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to explain this a little bit. Fayette County Community Action Agency recently received funding to operate the Retired Senior Volunteer Program, RSVP, and I am a project manager of that program. We're going out into the community and recruiting people who are age 55 and older to volunteer for various nonprofit agencies in the community, not just Fayette County Community Action. So if you or someone you know would like to volunteer for our agency, you can contact me at Community Action, and my phone number is 724-437-6050, extension 4276. And I would like to thank the commissioners for this proclamation for this new program that we just started. And thank you very much for your support.
Good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
Anybody here from the Older Americans Month? Besides me. Okay, Older Americans Month 2013, theme, Unleash the Power of Age. Proclamation, whereas Fayette County, Pennsylvania includes 33,656 citizens aged 60 and older, whereas Fayette County, Pennsylvania and Southwestern PA Area Agency on the Aging are committed to valuing all individuals and recognizing their ongoing life achievements. And whereas the older adults in Fayette County, Pennsylvania, play an important role by continuing to contribute experience, knowledge, wisdom, and accomplishments. And whereas the older adults and active community members involved in volunteering, mentorship, arts and culture, and civic engagement. And whereas recognizing the successes of community elders encourages their ongoing participation and further accomplishments. Whereas our community can provide opportunity to allow older citizens to continue to flourish by emphasizing the importance of elders and their leadership by publicly recognizing their continued achievements, presenting opportunities for older Americans to share their wisdom, experience, and skills, and recognizing older adults' valuable assets and strengthening American communities. Now, therefore, we, the Fayette County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim May 2013 to be Older Americans Month. We urge every citizen to take time this month to recognize older adults and the people who serve and support them as powerful and vital citizens who greatly contribute to the community.
Now, we also have one outgoing chairman and one incoming chairman. Then we'd like to thank you for your service as chairman. And you're coming in as the new chairman. Good luck to you as well.
Sure. I would be, I'm Leslie Grenfell, and I'm the Director of Southwest Area Agency on Aging, and I want to thank everybody, certainly the county commissioners and our providers in Fayette County. We're very pleased and honored to have Fayette County Community Action, Elder Gallatin Human Services, Connellsville Senior Tigers, Diversified Human Services, and Cross-Keys Human Services. Thank you. As the providers that every day help senior citizens in Fayette County to receive the highest quality of services that are available to them. So this is indeed a time not only to thank older adults for their contribution to society, but also to thank the providers who provide the care every day in homes and provide the meals in the senior centers in Fayette County. And we do that in support and partnership with the county commissioners. Thank you for this day. We honor to be here.
Thank you for everything you'll do.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Debbie, do you have one?
Sure. Excuse me, one announcement we would like to everyone to call to everyone's attention. We will have a celebration and an observance on the 29th at Cross-Keys Community Centers in at Connellsville Community Center, 100 East Fayette in Connellsville, PA. And we will begin around 1 o'clock that day. And we will recognize all the veterans age 60 and over that are active in our senior network. So we invite all of you to attend. So please, if you can't come out that day, we welcome you.
Come a little bit closer.
Thank you.
I could have done that too. Well, if you ever need, I just saw him Tuesday. I'll do that.
Okay, is there anybody here from the all-hour band today? This is actually a interesting project. It's a 100-year celebration for the Molinaro Band, whereas the Molinaro Band of Connellsville was originated in 1913 by its founder, Michael S. Maestro Molinaro, better known as Uncle Mike. And shortly after Michael S. Molinaro's arrival in the United States, he gathered together about a dozen local musicians and organized the Royal Italian Band. And whereas for a short time, Director Molinaro's band was called St. Rita's Italian Band under the late Reverend Harry DeViva. The band was named that in honor of St. Rita's Church in Connellsville. Whereas Michael S. Molinaro's death in 1936, his nephew, Emilio Molinaro, was taught music by the maestro, carried on the tradition of being the band's director. And whereas the band was then called the Molinaro Band in the maestro's memory. Whereas in 1942, the assistant director, Carmen B. Molinaro Sr., became acting director when Emilio Molinaro volunteered for the military service. And during World War II, the band played for 121 different groups of draftees who left the armed services. And whereas in 1946, Emilio returned from the service and once again resumed the duties of director. And in 1968, the band merged with the New Haven Hose Company, and the resulting band was named the Molinaro New Haven Hose Company Band. And whereas the band has always participated in all Connellsville parades, and it is in competition every summer at the firemen's parades and conventions. And whereas under the director of Emilio Molinaro, the band took first place at the Southwestern Pennsylvania Firemen's Convention in 1971 and 1973, and at the State's Firemen's Convention in 1978. And whereas Emilio Molinaro recruited new members constantly, kept the band well rehearsed and ready to play, and the band would march with 20 to 30 members in parades. And whereas after Emilio Molinaro's death in 1997, Henry L. Molinaro took over the director. Whereas due to family obligations and occupational commitments, Henry L. Molinaro passed the baton to his father in 1999, who has been the director since. Whereas in 2000, Henry F. Molinaro's son, Francis Coco Molinaro, decided to jump in and help his father with the band. Whereas all directors and musicians, participants in the Connellsville Molinaro's band are volunteers. Now therefore, we, the Commissioners of Fayette County, recognize the Molinaro Band celebrating 100 years of exceptional performance. I don't know if any of you have heard the Molinaro Band. They're excellent. They do a lot of volunteer work, and they're an asset to the community of Fayette County.
And just a side note, I grew up in Connellsville, and many times with all of the parades, we would go down to stand on the bridges and watch the Molinaro Band and other bands as well. And they were very instrumental, get the pun, they were very instrumental in me wanting to join a band. And I actually changed schools so I could join a band because the school system that I was in, they did not have a band at that time. That wasn't 100 years ago, and so I was the only one who in my family that actually left the school system and went to a different school system for the mere fact of wanting to join a band. And the Molinaro Band was very much of a reason. It's always nice when you have little kids go there and they watch the bands, and they really had the little batons and stuff. And they were very, very, very good. So I just hope that the Molinaro Band continues to have volunteers, and because we always need to have a band at a parade.
What instruments you play?
I played a clarinet and a saxophone. For band, it was the saxophone.
You have to bring it in with that.
Okay.
Redevelopment Authority. Consider approval of a resolution which approves submitting 4 applications by the county to the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency, Pennsylvania Housing Affordability Rehabilitation Enhancement Fund.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Consider conveying parcel 17-16-0040, known as 128 East First Street, Bryanstone, Jefferson Township, Fayette County, from the County of Fayette to the Redevelopment Authority of Fayette County at no cost.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Under Behavioral Health Administration, consider approval of the following agreements and modifications as listed.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Under the Bridge Department, consider approval to advertise the following vehicles for sale as listed.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider approval of a motion to donate a 1997 Ford Crown Victoria as listed, VIN number located at the Bridge Department, to the Fayette County Firemen's Association for fire school training.
Make the motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 7, Children in Youth Services. Consider approval of the fiscal year 2012-13 purchase of service agreement between the County of Fayette and Fayette County Children and Youth Services and CPP Behavioral Health at 253 South Mount Vernon Avenue, Uniontown, for psychiatric evaluations, individual family group therapy, and medicine management services on an as-needed basis at the following rates.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider approval of a fiscal year 2012-13 purchase of service agreements between the County of Fayette through the Fayette County Children and Youth Services and Fayette County Juvenile Probation Office at 34 West Peter Street, Uniontown, and Alternative Living Solutions at 2108 Tartan Court, Latrobe, for group home services on an as-needed basis, rates as follows.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Under the Clerk of Courts, consider approving an agreement for online data processing services with document imaging with Infocon Corporation of Yorkland, Delaware, with a $20,000 setup fee and a $330 monthly service fee with additional charges for backup services.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item 9, Controller Financial Conditions of the County. Mr. Lally.
Commissioners, for your approval dated this 23rd day of May 2013, in our checking account with United Bank, we have $11,071,646.58 in cash. Funds that are owed to our general fund are $1,440,000 as listed on the report. Our payments are due as listed on the report total $254,558.17. Central service payments as listed $78,686. Funds that we owe out of the general fund are our tax anticipation note of $5 million. That leaves our budget year net position at $7,844,890.75. Our total 2013 revenues year to date are $10,002,081.81. Our total 2013 expenditures to date are $18,145,577.63. Total 2012 expenditures, which are being paid this fiscal year, are $3,287,640.10. In our capital reserve fund balance, we have $33,583.62. In our bond fund balance, we have $209,011.20. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Lee.
You're welcome. Okay, thank you, Sean. The next item alphabetically is to do the amendment under the courts. The courts consider approval to award RFP 13-06 for Bernard L. Liptak to lease a new building that Mr. Liptak has agreed to build to specifications for the redistricting of Magisterial District Court 14-3-04 at a rental amount of $1,700 a month for 5 years. The courts have requested we make that a 6-year contract. Is that correct, Tammy?
Yes, and I also spoke with Mr. Liptak, and he is sufficient, he's fine with the 6-year lease also.
So,
And the building will be ready in time for...
He promised me I'd have it by December 1st, so I can start moving everything in and merging the 2 offices together.
I'll make the motion.
Are there any increases in the lease during the 6-year term? Or is it set at $1,700 a month?
He asked specifically for $1,700, yes.
So that's for the duration of the 6
For all
years.
6 years, correct.
And what about options to renew?
That's
He's open to
in
those
all of
options.
our contracts, yeah.
Second.
all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Under the Emergency Financial Agency, consider approval for the following staff members to attend equipment staging, testing, and acceptance at the Motorola facility in Schaumburg, Illinois, as a part of the county radio project. May 20th through 23rd, 2013. The individuals will be Roy Shipley, Guy Napalillo, Ben Sherwood, and Tony Albion.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Under Human Services Department, under the Commissioner's Office, consider rescinding the hire of Megan Leidig as summer clerk.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approving the hire of Michael Bojnak Jr. as summer laborer at $7.25 per hour effective June 10th, 2013.
Would like the motion.
Second, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approving the hire of Lauren Van Ostellen as a summer clerk at $7.25 per hour effective May 28th, 2013.
Make the motion.
Second, all those in favor? Aye.
Nay.
Motion carries. Consider approving an equity adjustment to the non-union employees' health insurance contributions for 2013 by waiving 2 months of insurance contributions for October, November, and potentially December if the employee completes a wellness incentive for a cost not to exceed $31,904.34.
Move.
Second, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Under CYS, consider approving the promotion of casework supervisor John Fritz to caseworker manager at an annual rate of $53,456.63 effective June 3rd, 2013.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approving the hire of Leanne David as County Caseworker 1 at a rate of $15.12 per hour effective June 10th, 2013.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider the hire of Gretchen Rumbaugh as County Caseworker 1 at a rate of $15.12 per hour effective June 10th, 2013.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries. Consider approving the hire.
Well, recommendation, I don't.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
I'll move the table.
Second the motion table.
All those in favor? Aye. Carries. Under the Emergency Management Agency, consider approving the promotion of part-time 911 dispatcher Christy Gleason to full-time 911 dispatcher at SEIU 911 scale pay grade 9, step A, $12.79 an hour, effective June 2nd, 2013.
Move.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Under the Fayette County Behavioral Health Agency, consider approving the transfer of Robin L. Brady from Mental Health Program Specialist 1, County Caseworker 2 at $19.60 an hour, effective May 27, 2013.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Consider approving the promotion of Devin Bowling from registered nurse 2 to registered nurse supervisor, care management supervisor at $23.24 an hour, effective May 27, 2013.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approving the amended 2013 Fayette County Behavioral Health Administration Compensation Plan for the period July 1st, 2013 through December 31st, 2013.
Move.
Second. All those in favor? Aye.
No.
Motion carries. Under tax assessment, consider approval of a 150-hour internship Rural Business Institute student Amanda Edwards, effective May 29, 2013.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Under juvenile probation, consider approval of involvement in the Phase Forward grant as provided by the U.S. Department of Labor in cooperation by the County of Fayette and Fayette County Juvenile Probation Office.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Office of Human and Community Services, consider ratification of the April 16, 2013 resolution to exclude bus number 136 from the approved advertising bid list.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Under Planning and Zoning, consider RZ 13-2, Donald R. D'Amico, Dunbar Township, requesting a change from R2 High Density Residential to M1 Light Industrial.
Make the motion to approve the change from R2 high density residential to M1 light industrial to be approved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And the amended item is consider approval to submit a Fayette County grant application to the State Department of Environmental Protection under Section 902 of Act 101 of 1988.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries. Under the prison, consider approval of the purchase of a roll-up door in the amount of $3,896 from Mark Briner Doors of Uniontown and a gate in the amount of $1,500 from Machine Fabricating of Uniontown for Sallyport repairs.
Move.
And that's out of the 2013 general fund budget. We don't have a capital, we never passed a capital outlay budget. So it's from 2013 general fund budget. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Under Public Works, consider a motion to ratify a contract for Green Acres for $2,760 for guardrail installation in the lower parking lot on Penn Street. An allocation was approved in the 2013 capital outlay budget.
Again, that will reflect the same
General fund.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries. Consider approval to apply for up to $10,000 in grant funds from CCAP P Corp Insurance Program Loss Prevention Grant Funding Program for improving our risk management at the county's properties for slip-resistant strips to be installed on steps that are not slip protected. Additional lighting in the front entry area, and additional cameras for a couple blind spots for security improvements.
Move.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider rejecting and rebidding bid 1306 for the 5-year grass cutting park maintenance contract.
I'll move to reject bid number 1306 and authorize the re-advertising for 5-year grass cutting park maintenance contract.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider consider a motion to extend the present contract with Goodwill SWPA at the 2012 rates for maintaining the parks until a new contract is awarded.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approval to apply for PA Act 129 non-standard lighting incentives for business program, which provides rebates for installing high-efficiency lighting equipment.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries. Consider approval to award asbestos abatement on the 2 out-of-service boilers, exhaust stack, breaching, boiler water condensing tank, various piping, and removal of the 2 boilers that were removed from service in the amount of $16,000 to Chelsea Rittenhour Jr. of Uniontown, and the allocation was approved in the 2013 general fund budget.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approval to award the removal of an approximate 600-gallon diesel fuel tank from the basement of the public service building. Remove as much piping as possible and plug cap off common lines. Scrap, sand, and remove the rust scale to the bare metal of the remaining fuel tank. Prime and paint tank with rust preventive paint. Pressure wash the areas where the tanks are located, and install a 24 by 24 inch exhaust fan venting through the exterior of the building for $3,000 with stash trucking of Uniontown. Allocation was approved by the 2013 general fund budget.
Move.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approval to award bid 13-07 to Auto Care Pittsburgh for a Model 5333M multi-energy X-ray inspection system in the amount of $21,000.
Move.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Under tax claim, consider accepting the following bids for the May 7, 2013 repository cell bid opening, subject to all conditions being met as attached.
It was, first I want to compliment and all those who were involved in this. Well done. I make a motion.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approval for Attorney Vincent Roskovensky to conduct deep searches for the 194 parcels listed in the 2014 free and clear sale in the amount of $55 each for a total of $10,670. All those in favor? Aye. Under the Commissioners, consider ratification of the following transfers as listed in the total of debits of $64,165.50. Credits the same.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider approval of the April 16, 2013 regular Commissioner meeting minutes.
Move.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider rescinding Resolution 12-11-21-34 regarding rehabilitation of the Fredericktown Ferry.
Move.
Question, at the agenda meeting, Commissioner Duncan mentioned that you had placed a call over to
Larry Magic.
Washington. Did they?
Never called. I explained to Mr. Maggi my intentions, that I was going to put forth these these items on the agenda. I had asked Mr. Maggi to run that by his colleagues. I have not received any phone call from Mr. Maggi. He had explained, I guess, in an interview with the reporter that he never received anything formal. I did not issue any formal letter. It was a simple phone call, but I was going to put this on the agenda for discussion, possible vote, and that's where I left it.
And I, after your comment made at the agenda meeting, I sent an email to the Chief Clerk of Washington County informing her of the motion that was made and asking her to forward it on to the 3 Washington County Commissioners. And I, too, have not heard any response from the Chief Clerk or any of the 3 Washington County Commissioners.
I mean, historically, as you recall, I mean, this has been an ongoing issue for 3 years. And I think it took until last year for them to take any formal action on it at all. So again, there could be interaction between now and then, but I just think that the cost of operation of this is clearly we're losing money. If Washington County wants to take full operation of it, or a combination between Washington and Greene or some other entity, that's fine. But I just think that at this point in time, we can't keep operating with the loss that we're at.
Well, given that statement that you just made, it may behoove us then to just at least not rescind the resolution. That is only to advertise for a bid. If we just determine not to, or if we receive word from Washington County that they're not interested, or without no response from Greene County, then we can rescind the resolution at another meeting. No action needs to be taken, but it may be, between now and the time that we hear back from the Washington County Commissioners. Since they haven't contacted us, maybe after today's vote, they may, want to proceed. So I'm suggesting maybe not moving ahead on the next one, but maybe not.
That's fine. The only thing is I want to make sure we're not caught with any requirement to the match on the rehabilitation. That's fine. I have no problems with that.
In addition, I believe our chief clerk sent a letter to Washington County informing them of this pending resolution. Ms. Reback, have you heard any response from them?
I received an email from one of the commissioners, Commissioner Maggi, a person saying thank you. That's all I know.
Make sure that I didn't know that you sent a letter. I just found that out now. Any letters like that would go out to the commissioners. I'm make sure that I see it before it goes out. Okay. And his only response was thank you.
The letter simply stated what was on the agenda.
Yeah, I have no problems with the suggestion made by Commissioner Zimmerling until we receive the information from Washington County. Again, I just don't want to get any commitment regarding any match. And I know the FTA has been putting a little bit of a pressure on both counties to take some type of action, but I will support your motion table if that's what it is.
Well, yeah, we're going to have to do a motion to table since it's on the agenda. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approval to halt operations of the Fredericktown Ferry effective Tuesday, September 3rd, 2013.
I'll make the motion, again, that Fayette County cease its operation, or its role within the operation of the Fredericktown Ferry as of Tuesday, September 3rd, 2013.
Okay, so you're changing the resolution to say approve to cease. What did you say?
Well, Fayette County,
cease.
Because we're going to allow for the possibility of Washington County or Greene to pick it up.
Right, because the resolution says to halt the operation, so you're saying to cease Fayette County's role in the operation.
That's correct.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider awarding a contract under RFP 13-04 for a day reporting center.
I'll make the motion, and I believe this falls within the recommendation made by the court that we would award the Adult Reporting Center to Southwestern Pennsylvania Human Services. I am saying that correctly, am I not? The basis of my decision to do this is it's a one-time cost. They currently have a facility in Fayette County on Gallatin Avenue. They have, obviously, they work with providers that will be utilized within the service currently. So basically, they can hit the ground running. They do operate a adult reporting center in Westmoreland County. So I think it's, from a cost-effective side, it's beneficial to the county. Also, as far as the implementation of the program, I think it hits, as I said, it hits the ground running. So we can hopefully continue to see a reduction of our prison population, thus averting the cost that we have with outside rentals. So my motion is to award to Southwestern Pennsylvania Human Services.
Actually, the proposal came from Southwest Behavioral Care, Inc. I think we just need to make sure that
Well, that's I just always refer to it as SPHS. I'm sorry.
And I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, Commissioner, you're correct. We're named Southwest Behavioral Care, but we do business here at DBA.
That's what I was just trying, I was reading.
SPHS.
Okay, but the contract will actually be awarded to Southwest Behavioral Care, Inc.?
That's right.
Okay, and you're a representative, obviously, from there? Okay, I want to ask you, since you're here, a question. In reviewing this, it says that the 12-month budget, the total projected operating budget is $427,725. And you projected the third-party income for mental health services of over $300,000, leaving a 12-month projected startup cost for the county to be $125,576.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, and that's based on just your projection for the county to receive reimbursement from third-party MA services?
Yes, currently we have 3 of the programs necessary for the center that are already in operation. We have the Forensic Diversion and Reentry Program, which we are currently billing for through Value Behavioral Health Choices. We provide the prison services, which is program funded through Fayette County Behavioral Health for our psychiatrist and our social worker. And we also have a forensic outpatient, which is billing third-party health choices or VBH money.
So that's a projection. You have, a percentage either way that may go up or down. The reason I'm asking is for our budgeting purposes, future budgeting purposes.
For the 125 or the total operating?
Now, I understand. I know the total operating will calculate, obviously, but for the projection for this first 12 months.
That should be a good figure as far as we calculated, yes.
Okay. The way in which it's worded is that, for startup money, what about future years?
Okay. Well, the reason I'm asking for the startup money is the one piece we don't have in place right now is the drug and alcohol piece. And we filed for a license for that, and we'll have to hire staff for that, and we'll have startup costs along the way there. So that's the one piece that we don't have.
Did you apply for a license?
Yes.
And how long will what would the turnaround time be?
This is Stephanie Motto, our clinical director for the agency. So I'm going to defer that to her because she takes care of those things.
I applied for the licensure. It typically takes approximately 2 to 3 months. We applied about 1 month ago for the license for the Gallatin Avenue complex. So I've already been in contact with the Department of Drug and Alcohol Programs, and they needed some more information from us, which we've already sent to them. So they should be scheduling a site visit, hopefully within the next month or 2, as they've already reviewed. Their legal department's already approved our application.
So after this after this initial 12-month period, what do you anticipate the county's expense to be?
Shouldn't be anything we should be able to bill third party, with the exception if there are county eligible individuals, we would bill the Fayette County drug and alcohol or bill the Fayette County behavioral health system.
Okay, so all of the, anything over and above would be billed to other social service programs, and you would not be looking to the county. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, and that's just based on the information that you know now, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Thank you.
In addition, I understand there's a grant application filed by Sean Seifel that may actually reimburse us the $127,000 start fees.
Yeah.
So we may not see that.
The application that was filed through APO has some direct implication with the ARC, is that correct?
With APO or JPO? That's the one with the juvenile?
The APO, not the JPO. I think that's what Commissioner Brazini is referring to.
The grant for the adult or APO?
Yeah.
That
Is
was
that
the one
Mr.
with
Seifel?
citizen rates?
I'm sorry?
That was the one with citizens on rate?
Yeah, that's correct.
I didn't think we applied that grant because we couldn't find the citizens on rate for Fayette County.
That's correct. That was an older grant. This is a new one he's applying to.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, there's some application in a new grant that have ARC implications.
Okay, I had not heard of that.
I'll have Sean give you a call.
And then, question for the county solicitors. When this was brought up back in January, and I believe the matter was tabled, I made some comments regarding the RFP process. Did you have an opportunity to review this, and are you of the opinion that the process that we took, we have the process taken with regard to the RFP process was in accordance with all of the applicable regulations?
I did not review this, did you, John?
Do you remember me? I believe both of you were sitting there at the February or January meeting. I'm going to support awarding this. I want to make certain that there are no issues with respect to the RFP that was advertised, tabled, and then there was, from my recollection, there was no authorization to re-advertise. One bid was open and the amount was stated publicly, and then later on another re-advertisement was done, and 2 businesses have responded. So I want to make sure that all of it, that there's not going to be any issues. And it's a crystal ball of whether or not the other 2 entities will object to it, but I want to make sure that the T's are crossed and I's are dotted now so that there are no issues later.
Commissioner, I think also the original party had submitted a proposal the second time as well.
My notes indicated that whenever we had the January meeting, that this matter was tabled pending Judge Wagner's approval of the language of the advertisement.
An RFP was you want me to go through this again, or you don't recall?
No, I remember it now that you're bringing it up, Commissioner, yes.
And your opinion would be then?
Well, based upon the fact that I don't recall that we discussed it, my opinion would be that it would be okay. Commissioner Zapatowski has said as well, but I do remember talking now that John points that out, that in fact I remember calling Judge Wagner that he was in a medical malpractice case at the time.
So the question was, initially there was one submission.
Right.
There was, then there was discussion at the meeting that we needed to expand, if you will, the circulation of the proposal. to other publications. I think we had it limited to just the Herald-Standard. Subsequently, we expanded the advertisement, I think, to the Trib, if I recall correctly, which resulted in receiving 2 additional proposals, as well as the original submitting a proposal again as well. So all 3 parties had subsequently responded to the second advertisement, although we never rescinded the original RFP and reissued a new RFP.
Right, but I'm sorry. Well, I was just going to say, so the original submittee submitted, and I do remember that, I think, talking to Commissioner Ambrosini about that. I believe that once they have done that, at least arguably, there's a waiver of any of these potential issues, whether they're real or not, any other Commissioner.
Okay, well, they are real, okay, because it happened. Whether or not someone would bring it up is we don't know. But if you believe that the county will have a basis to argue that they have the original bidder had waived their right by submitting a second, if that's your contention, then I will support it. When the matter was tabled, first off, just to be clear, the commissioners unanimously at a commissioner public meeting voted to advertise for the solicitation of proposals for a day reporting center. That was done. In January, the matter was tabled. 2 commissioners said, because they wanted to wait to receive the response from the president judge, get his approval with not only the day reporting center, but all concept, even though we had that a year and a half ago, but also with the company, because that particular company also presented, even before an RFP was done, they were called in by the Criminal Justice Advisory Board and made a presentation. So it came in because the courts asked them to, no bid, nothing, just made a presentation to the Criminal Justice Advisory Board. There was nothing as far as formal advertising. Gave their price, all 9 months. Then later, the commissioners authorized the advertising of the proposal. And then in January, that all happened prior to January. In January, the issue was whether to award or not award to that particular company. Well, to award it. At that time in January, there was only one company. Okay, so the matter was tabled. So you have a RFP that was properly advertised, reported on, openly discussed, okay? No action was taken on that particular RFP. At the commissioners' meeting, I stated that I would have preferred to have those, the advertising in more than one newspaper, as I've been saying for years, so that's nothing new. We did not vote at that time to re-advertise. We didn't vote to award or reject. It was to table awarding that RFP. Then later, a couple weeks later, 2 commissioners signed off on having it to be re-advertised. Signed off meaning signed an internal requisition, and the chief clerk re-advertised under a whole new RFP. And at that time, in addition to the first company sending in a proposal, 2 other companies did as well. And that's what's before us now under this RFP 1304. So I will support awarding our RFP 1304 to Southwest under the condition that the county solicitors because again, you know, we talked about this in January.
We did.
I just assume that when I say it, that you're going to follow through, okay? We'll talk about that later, but with the process that was taken, that you feel comfortable in the event that there is an issue raised with, by that one company.
I feel comfortable adopting your language. You know, we don't have a crystal ball, but I feel confident that we have a very good argument that, you know, in my opinion, is correct, and I would ask for John to join in if he's so inclined. But I think that second bidding, whenever they did, we have a very good argument that they have waived any rights that they may have had to advance the position that you're rightfully concerned about.
Okay, do we, Chief Clerk, do you have the RFP number for the first RFP that was issued? It would have been 13.
I don't know. I believe it was 1302, but I'm not.
1302. Because that one actually should be rejected, just to...
You put the 13, and I don't have a number on here, if you would put RFP 1302 on the table, whenever the matter was tabled at the January 15th meeting, so you've done nothing with that RFP.
That's what I'm saying.
So technically, you can take it off the table and reject all bids, and then you should approve the second RFP, because, as Mr. Berkeley stated, the fact that these folks participated in your second RFP sort of is a waiver of their right to contest the fact that you rebid it. So if you want to clean up your agenda, you could take the first RFP off the table, reject all bids, accept the second RFP, and move along.
Right, and then just make sure that this is done in the proper method, rather than us doing this. This is just doing what I'm going to do is cleaning up a mess that it shouldn't have occurred in the first place. Instead of tabling, it should have been rejected, or the very next month it should have been rejected. Isn't there something within the county code that you're supposed to accept or award the business in so many days anyway?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to make a motion to amend the agenda to add an item to consider rejecting the bids for RFP 13 and Chief Clerk was saying 02. Make the motion to amend the agenda.
I'll second the motion.
Since there was a motion made on RFP 1304, should we table that until we have?
Well, I'll rescind my motion pending the amendment that was just put forward. So now, is there any comment on the amendment?
You moved.
I second it.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay.
Now I will
Is there any public comment on this particular agenda item?
Now I will make my motion to award. We're on 1304 now?
Let's, we moved to amend the agenda. Let's make a motion to rescind 1301 or 1302.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. I make the motion to rescind RFP 1302.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Now I'll make the motion to award RFP 1304 to Southwestern Pennsylvania, doing business as Southwestern Pennsylvania Human Services. Southwest Behavioral Care.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
Just for the record, in addition President Judge John Wagner reviewed all the proposals. He sent a letter of endorsement to the Commissioner's office along with signatures from the District Attorney's office, Jack Hennigs, the PD's office, Jeff Whiteco, and the Adult Probation Office.
Yeah, and I didn't know that, and I sent an email up to Karen Coon and asked, and to Tammy Lane, asking what the judges and the other entities had stated, and she said that she sent one letter down for distribution, so just please make sure that whoever gets those types of letters to make, if you get one, make 2 copies. Thank you. Oh, and put one in my box.
So I am very encouraged with this adoption of this resolution. I think the company that's going to be providing these services to the offenders that will be entered into these programs and the alternative sentencing is very encouraging for a number of reasons. The primary reason is we're actually going to help people. We're going to help people turn their lives around, give them the opportunity to not only get educated on how to make better decisions in their lives, but give them options. Unfortunately, most people that enter our correctional facility do that because they make poor choices because they don't know they have options. So we're going to provide those options. I've had a tour of the facility that we're going to use and talk to the people that's going to run this program. And I think they have exceptional talent, very dedicated, and I look forward to remarkable results, not only in the reduction of recidivism, but helping people to become productive members of our society.
The discussion of day reporting centers and things of that nature was discussed even in the last administration. And you cannot have taken this kind of step without having the courts and the entities, and more so, and really definitely, the courts, because it is the judges who, and the lawyers, they can argue back and forth, but then the judges who offer the sentencing, they have to be open to having a sentencing the non-violent to the gay reporting center. Without having the judges on board, a day reporting center in Fayette County would not work. If you have 1 out of 5, then you're not going to be sending many out there. So you need to have all judges on board to make this be effective. Other counties have begun day reporting centers. They've had them for a number of years. Some of them do them in-house, some of them do them through social service programs. But understand one thing, this isn't like just a new concept. I mean, when nonviolent offenders are sentenced, they do have to, as part of their sentencing, go through these programs. I mean, this isn't something new. You know, us three here aren't the nuances here, and we're going to solve all of the recidivism problem in Fayette County and the overcrowding of the jail. Okay, it is a method, as this particular entity has stated in their proposal, is to coordinate the programs and the reporting methods into one area so that we can better monitor and regulate to make certain that the offenders are adhering to the sentencing guidelines. And that's not only will that aid in making certain, I mean, quite honestly, in my opinion, I think it's a shame that you almost have to hold their hand to go to the programs. But on the other hand, by having it set up in a court order that they must report to the data reporting center, that is going to force the offenders to do this rather than going to jail. So it's twofold. It should reduce our overcrowding. We're going to have to wait and see. How many individuals? We've asked this question before through the board and through the courts. How many individuals presently at our county jail would be able to enter into this program? And there's never a definite answer, because to go back and find that information, it's always said that that's more difficult. But I think the important thing to do here is to gauge how this has worked. Gauge, because again, this is not just repeat offenders, it's to make sure that they are on the right path, so you can correct some situations. But what I would like to see with the courts and with the agency, and I'm sure you will do this, is to show us some real numbers, okay? Once this is in effect, to show us, okay, how many individuals came before the courts and could have been sentenced to these particular programs and to the data reporting center. And then what are the statistics in that you making certain that they adhere to it versus those who just, I mean, you can only do so much yourself, I understand that. But also, you know, to keep a track of, you know, a 6-month and a year period to see exactly how effective this is, because that's the important part. Whether it costs the county money out of the general fund or out of social projects isn't the main question here. It's whether or not it's working. So I would like to see perhaps a 6-month and then a year of what has occurred. Okay? I think that would be very helpful to everyone that's involved.
Well, it's going to take a collaborative effort, not just, and the courts have been obviously willing to cooperate with the public defender, the district attorney. There will be adult probation officers on site. It's not just about satisfying a sentence. There will be opportunities for job training programs. So it's a combination of satisfying your debt to society while building skill sets that hopefully allow you to become a productive part of society, thus reducing the rate that I can never pronounce the word. Yes, thank you. It's supported by the Secretary of DOC, who was the warden in Franklin County. He fully stands behind this program. So I think there is some new concepts to it. It's not just sentencing. It's sentencing with features like job retraining, drug or alcohol maintenance. So there is some new approaches to this, and I think it will work. And I do agree with you. We're starting fresh, so we should have numbers to reflect on to see its progress.
Can I just add, our record system, we have electronic health records, so as long as we know what the expectations are, what people are looking for with data, we can build that into our system. So but we might have to.
Thank you.
I made the motion. We can vote on that.
Okay, consider approving a resolution utilizing $5,000 in 2012 Act 13 money to fund the Community Health Improvement Partnership to develop an implementation plan for the healthcare improvement of Fayette County citizens as authorized under Act 13, page 30, line 18, number 9, the delivery of social services.
Move.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approval of the excuse me, of the MOU for the sheepskin trail between Fayette County and the National Road Heritage Corridor.
No change has been made. I'll make the motion.
Second, all those in favor?
Is it also, does that agreement also say DCNR? Amy, you know? Yeah, just look at it real quick, because he mentioned between Fayette County and the National Road Heritage. I don't recall whether or not it also includes the DCNR.
I know they've applied to grants for DCNR.
The MOU, I don't
recall, I don't know.
Just at the top, it says
Between the County of Fayette and the National Road Heritage
the DCNR. We just needed their review and approval.
Well, was the next paragraph of whereas they come together to make application for a partnership program grant from the DCNR.
That's part of it.
Was it second?
I make the motion.
All those in favor?
He second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Under board appointments, consider appointment in the business slot of the Workforce Investment Board for a 3-year term to expire December 31st, 2013. That's for you.
Still haven't set the interviews. I believe there was one set in the individual council. I'll move to table both for the next, for the June meeting.
Is it possible to get these interviews for June? Is there a sense of urgency that Mr. Thompson or Donna explained that we need to fill these?
Yes.
But we don't, I mean, we haven't interviewed yet. So, I mean, if we interview for, between now and the next June meeting, we should have names and we can then actually put somebody.
That's fine. I'll motion to set the table.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Are there any public announcements? Yes, sir.
Me?
You making an announcement or a comment?
I would like to basically make a statement if I could. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Darrell Becker. I am the current chairman of the Fayette County Agricultural Land Preservation Board, and I also serve in the capacity of treasurer for the Fayette County Farm Board. I am here representing the Agricultural Preservation Board, and with your permission, I would like to present you with a formal request for a meeting to discuss State of the Union of the Ag Land Preservation Board in Fayette County and the interrelationship with Act 13 money, which I see is still on the agenda for 2012. I would like to discuss this relationship with you and how it relates to farmers. The contents of the letters would be, first, the request, and then second, at a spring meeting in April, I was asked to give a same State of the Union address to the Farm Bureau based on questions about how ag land preservation in Fayette County relates to Act 13 money. And there's a synopsis of that report that I gave to them, which I included for your benefit. And I'm optimistic at some point in time I will hear back from you. And I thank you for your time tonight.
Yeah, you have 3 copies of this one?
I have 3.
Okay, thank you.
And Mr. Becker, if you could, work with Nicole Young to set up a meeting for the 3 commissioners. Thank you, Nicole. Any other public comment?
Yep.
Seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
You do?
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you all for coming.